Returning to our top story, now key issues in President Zuma's speech later today will most likely be unemployment and poor service delivery. Well, to look ahead at what else to expect, we join now live in our studios in Pretoria by Roland Henwood from the University of Pretoria's Political Science faculty. Roland, good morning and thank you very much for your time. A lot of speculation whether or not President Zuma will surprise the nation tonight. What do you think?
Yes, indeed. Important that I don't know what he's going to say, but I can join in the discussion of what we think should be part of the speech. Firstly, I think the speech takes place against the backdrop of two important stories in South Africa. The upcoming elections, which has a particular importance in that it indicates there is a specific limit to what government can do between now and the day of the election. So they don't have much time. And probably he would reflect a little bit on what government is doing and what government will be doing between now and election day. Hopefully he would give us an insight into approaching the election, and then very important, as the President of South Africa, talk to people on the election, what we can expect, what parties and government will do and should do in terms of ensuring a proper, free and fair election. Second important story that will inform this is 20 years of democracy in South Africa. Achievements of government will definitely feature, and he will use that to show that government has done a lot, that South Africa has moved on, that South Africa is a very different place from what it was in 1994. And he will make the argument probably that it's a much better place than in 1994.
Okay, those are the elections and 20 years of democracy, and currently in the country we see a rise again in service delivery protests which tend to turn violent and allege police brutality. And last year when he stood in Parliament for his 2013 State of the Nation address, he promised a no-nonsense approach. Do you think he'll also address this?
I think this is where it becomes challenging. The first two issues are the easy ones to deal with. What he has to do in this speech is really act and portray himself as a president that is in control, that has confidence in his government and institutions, and that can work with others. And that will include other political parties. He's the President of the Republic of South Africa, and that must come through in what he is going to say. He has to address the problems, the uncertainties, but also the levels of anger in South Africa, which is substantial at this stage. He does it from a position of weakness at some level. If one looks at the information coming out in terms of opinion surveys, the divisions that exist in the alliance, but he also can use the strength of being the president, having the ANC behind him and the machinery of government behind him. The trick will be to balance those. Not to come over as somebody that doesn't care, but also not to come over as weak and tolerating almost everything just because it's an election year.
Do you think he should also deal with corruption issues? I mean, there's two situations which somehow refuse to go away around President Zuma, like they're sticking to him. The Gupta Gate, which was a lot talked about last year, and recently we're all still waiting for the eNCA report from the public protector. Do you think he should also use this opportunity maybe to address those?
It could be a good opportunity to reflect on these issues. The problem the president has, though, is the moment he starts talking on how to deal with corruption, these two issues are immediately associated with him. And the way in which these have been dealt with so far, or to a large extent have been ignored, does not reflect well on what the president is saying. And this brings me to maybe a third issue. One could expect him to probably use the legacy of the late President Mandela to also coin his speech, to phrase what he's going to do, and link that to 20 years of democracy and achievements. Again, the challenge here is the more he does that, the more these problems that you refer to that is associated with him will be pushed to the fore, and the glaring contradictions will be visible. So quite a difficult position for the president to be in.
Okay, thank you very much. That's Roland Henwood from the Department of Political Science at the University of Pretoria. More still ahead here on Morning News Today, and of course your sports and weather. Stay with us.
No more. eNCA.com.